Freedom was the fourth novel of the American writer Jonathan Franzen. Published to great acclaim in 2010, it earned its author an appearance on the front cover of Time magazine, the first living author to receive that honour since Stephen King in the year 2000, alongside the banner Great American Novelist. Freedom was partly inspired by the untimely death of Franzen's friend, the novelist David Foster Wallace. Franzen was born in Illinois in 1959 and he grew up in Missouri. In 1981, he gained a university degree in German, studying in Munich and Berlin both before and after graduation. Shortly afterwards, he worked in Harvard's Earth Sciences department. All of these experiences have fed into his novels in different ways. For example, a significant part of his fifth novel, Purity, is set in Germany, while one of the main characters in Freedom is an environmentalist. Time magazine hailed Freedom as a novel which shows us the way we live now. I'll come back to that in a moment. It focuses on a married couple called Walter and Patty Berglund. The Berglunds are white, middle-class liberals with two children who live in a nice area. But Patty was raped when she was 17, and she only settled for Walter when she couldn't persuade a glamorous rock musician called Richard Katz to embark on a long-term relationship with her. Walter was Richard's friend, much more dependable, and obviously in love with her, so she plumped for him instead. Patty's midlife crisis begins many years later when her children, particularly the boy, begin to behave in ways that are inconsistent with their parents' ideals. Patty goes into therapy and her marriage gradually disintegrates. Richard Katz appears on the scene again. I won't go on because in some ways an exhaustive summary of the plot would be unhelpful. The point in Franzen, as in most realist fiction, isn't what happens but the quality of the writing, or to put it another way, the accuracy with which events, objects and psychological states are rendered through description. The bigger question is, what did Time magazine mean by saying it shows us the way we live now? Who are we in that sentence? We're certainly not all white middle-class liberals or rock stars, and we probably don't resemble the Berglund children. And yet there is a sense in which the novel's characters really are little everymen. How do we live now? Well, life expectancy is vastly greater than it's been for most of human history. We generally have a lot of spare time and a lot of choice. Yes, we mostly have ideals of one sort or another, but they sometimes get deprioritized, partly because other people also have hundreds of choices, and those other people and their choices impinge on us, and we can always be persuaded to change our lives' trajectories in response to their appeals or to our own relative feelings of inadequacy. There's a sense in which the ever-present possibility of self-creation or self-recreation means that often we don't really know who we are anymore. Obviously, given the complexity of society in the 21st century, there are a million books that could be written, all of which would illustrate the way we live now. How would we choose between them? Well, it wouldn't be on the basis of plot, because the possibilities for all of us are endless. And it wouldn't be on the basis of protagonists, because although we might find a few in there that resemble ourselves, their circumstances would probably be completely different. It would almost certainly be writing. Good writing can make connections, and it can expose the relevance of superficially dissimilar predicaments. And the better it is, the more as a reader you get to take away. Anyway, that's why Freedom is worth reading.